Hey guys, welcome to back to Flying in Space with Planethead. Um, been a couple of days. I would like to say I wasn't playing or I was busy. Basically, it's been a little bit quiet, and I've been trying to figure out something to do for a video. If you watch the last videos, one of my characters I moved out to wormhole space. I've been living a little bit out there. Um, And the other one is my current character here, which is my hauling character. If you watched the last video, I gave some pointers on setting up a hauling alt for alpha characters. That can grow later. Um, and I was trying to think of a pretty good video. The only problem is that it's been kind of quiet in wormhole space for me. Um, and uh, I haven't made a lot of loot out there. Have been pushing it too hard. And so I thought maybe today I'd give a little bit more of a pointer thing as far as setting up my hauling alt and get him up and running. Some of the few things I've been doing on the side. What I'll do almost every time I play is I'll boot up my main character while he's in wormhole space. And then if there's anybody in the system, I'll just jump out and play another character. If there isn't anybody, I'll scan down the anomalies, see if there's anything worthwhile. And once that's said and done, I'll go ahead and get any relic sites or anything like that. There's going to be growth there down the road that I'll be able to do some videos with, but I've been keeping it a little bit quiet on that end. So, what I wanted to show here, and this is really just for kind of beginning players or people who are trying to get used to it, um, I'm going to show you what I'm doing with my hauling alt to get him up to snuff or get him usable and helpful. And then at the end, I'm going to try something I watched a couple videos on I'm really bad at that I thought I would show everyone. I think it's something that people struggle with. Um, so I'm going to try and do it, and it's something that you can do with your hauling alt to mess around with. So first off, I'm in my free wreath here. I actually like the look of this ship. It's very Battlestar Galactica-ish, you know. Um, one of the I feel like it's one of those ships that might have been in the fleet that was running from the Cylons in the original series, maybe even the later series. Um, so I love the sound of that. Listen to that engine roll. Um, so right now I have it very basic. Just show you the fit. Couple of things. Got some inertial stabilizers on here. And a damage control just to mitigate a little bit of damage if somebody were to try to gank me. Probably shouldn't have too many problems with that. I'm not going to be hauling anything ultra expensive right off the bat, but more of an annoyance factor. Don't want to deal with it. Um, and then I've got the ship shield tanked with a couple shield extenders here and a micro warp drive on it. Oh, actually, that is the wrong micro warp drive. I need a 50 MN micro warp drive. That is dumb of me. Glad I caught that. So I'm going to just drop that into my bay here. There's a couple other things that I want to pick up for this ship. And the main thing I want to talk about in this video is um, things I've talked about in the past. Time is money. One thing I've learned out in wormhole space is using a cargo scanner to scan down expensive loot is really, really helpful out there. It's not as needed in other areas, I think, because you can see people in local. But a cargo scanner out in wormhole space allows you to find those, not waste time. And same thing here with my hauling alt. Um, Couple things that I focus on with it, and this is by no means going to be a professional fit, but things to keep in mind. Number one, you've got your inertial stabilizers here. These are things that will allow you to line and warp faster. Um, Down here you can see how long it takes this ship to turn and fly. If I don't have these on, boom, boom, it's at 9 seconds. If I do have them on, it gets me down to 6.5 seconds. That's just 2 of them there. Now, each one that I put on does less and less of a bonus because they do stack. Since I'm putting these on here, we'll just show up what it does here. It says, improves the ship handling and maneuverability. Penalty using more than one of these, so the stacking thing. Does no real other negative to the ship there, so I like the inertial stabilizers. Close all the tabs. I don't need all those tabs. Thank you very much. The second thing I want to throw in here are some nanofiber um, hole plating thingies. And I'm going to pull those up here. I think I can actually buy them in this system. I was looking at that earlier. Nanofiber ship equipment, nanofiber internal structure. Yes. Oop, I'm in the wrong station. So let's go get those. I'm going to buy 2 of those. What they do is, if I remember correctly, and I'll pull up once I get warp in here. Let's location, dock up. Okay. What these do, let's just go ahead and pull this up here, replaces some of the heavier structure components with lighter but more fragile material, increases the ship's velocity and improves maneuverability, but at the expense of hull strength. So it's going to lower my structure hit points, but it's going to increase my turning radius. So I'm going to throw 2 of these on here as well. If somebody really wants to gank me, they're going to gank me. But what I'm doing with it is focusing my damage taking on my shields, my shield extenders, and using my nanofibers and things like that to get me able to warp faster. So we'll pull in here. We'll buy 2 of those, and I'll just show you the difference it does on these. Now I could do this. I could simulate this. I'm going to actually do a simulation here in a little bit to show you on other things that you can do. But let's go ahead and buy this. Blah, blah, blah. And again, this is a basic character. I barely even skilled it up. Just using my daily bonus rewards that you get. Okay. And there's my items. So we'll drop both of those in here. Boop-a-doo. And a boop-a-doop. So that drops it down to 5.7 seconds. So I've dropped another second off my radius turn. Now that may not seem like a lot, but if you think about it, every time you warp someplace, you're probably going to have to turn and move twice. So dropping it down by 4 seconds is going to increase, and that's every time I go through a gate, things like that. So it's just going to add up. And you want to do that. You want to save yourself some time. It gets a little bit boring watching your ship slowly turn. Anybody who's flown a big ship. I remember back when I used to play, I had an Orca, and there were some tricks you could get it up to moving, but man, that sucker turned slow. And I'd hate to be flying some of these freighters that people do. Down the road, I may be doing it with this character. So, basic fit. Now, there's a couple of things up here that you can do with your rigs that will actually increase this a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and simulate this. I'll just show you what you can do. There's 3 rigs that you can throw on here that'll help you a little bit more, but they are more expensive. If you notice right now, this ship is only worth 1.7 million ISK. Plus, I got it for free. But if I get rid of that and I go on the rigs, I already had that up. Okay, there's 3 things that you can look at here. I'm just going to plop them into the ship and explain them once I get them in there. I'm going to throw in the hyperspatial velocity optimizer, the low friction nozzle joints, and the polycarbon engine housing. Beep. So each one of these things is a little bit different. Let's talk about the velocity optimizer first. What does that do? Well, that right there, the ship modification is designed to increase the ship's warp speed and acceleration at the expense of increased signature radius. So this one is kind of huge in my mind because it does 2 things. Number one, it increases your warp speed right here, which is the amount of time while you're in warp it takes you to get from point A to point B. So if you think about that, if you're going across a huge system like Magica or something like that, where it's 150 AU across or whatever it is, that can take quite a while. You increase that by one, you're going to really in- increase your speed. The other thing too is it looks like it actually helps your acceleration at the expense of increased signature radius. So that is one thing you got to watch out for. The larger your signature radius, the faster somebody can lock on to you. The faster they can lock on to you, the faster they can shoot you. So don't carry anything expensive. um, Second, we'll go in here and we'll take a look at the ship modification designed to, the low friction nozzles. This will actually help with my agility. That is the turning. Remember that earlier? If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what it is. Doesn't make a huge difference, but it does do some. And I'm sure it actually does more. And then, because I know a lot of people use those, there's going to be a reason. I'll find out later on. If you have any ideas, just pop me in the comment section. And lastly, we're going to look at the medium carbon engine housing. This modification is designed to increase the ship's velocity and maneuverability at the expense of armor. So while the other one increases your warp speed, this increases your velocity, which is the amount of speed that you have just moving about space. And it also increases your maneuverability, but you lose a little bit of armor. So if you notice, everything there is reducing my armor and my structure, but it's not affecting my shield. So at least I've got a little bit of tank there going on with my shields, and thrown in here with the damage control. I could even throw in up here some other things to help out with the shields. Maybe there's a multispectral thingy here or there. Not sure. Not really too worried about it at this point, but these are growth things that I can do for my ship. So that's basic stuff. I'm not going to use this right now because these actually are semi-expensive. 300,000 each. So here, and you have to pick them up. I think the polycarbon was actually over $1 million, or close to $1 million there. So that's $1 million. So I'm increasing the price of I'm doubling the price of my ship by throwing on these rigs. So I'm not going to go with those for now. Down the road I probably will. But I do need to pick up that 50 MN micro warp drive. Why? Because every once in a while you need to get from point A to point B. Is there one in this system at all? Maybe. It's not looking like it for me. No, I'll pick one up along the way. So that's the last thing I want to throw in there, is just to be able to, let's say I accidentally autopilot. Well, I don't know how you could accidentally autopilot, but let's say you do. The micro warp drive will get me from point A to point B a lot faster than an afterburner or just tugging along. So I'll grab one of those soon. So that is the fitting of the really basic fitting. You notice I'm not fitting it all the way out yet. What I want to actually do next, remember I have all of these offered things for the career agents. They're just going to sit there. But the next goal of mine is to actually start increasing my LP, start increasing my standings with other corporations and other factions. And how do you do that? Well, you run missions for them. And what are the easiest, simplest missions to run? The distribution missions. Now, this is not going to make anybody a millionaire or a billionaire. I'm not going to label this video as make a billion-isk flying distribution missions. But as an alpha character, you can fly up to level 3 missions. And that includes level 3 distribution missions. What does that do for you? It increases your status and your interaction with different corporations. So if you want to sell things through those corporations, it'll lower your broker fees, if I remember correctly. Number 2, every 16 missions, normally it has you run some simple mission that gets you an implant, which you can either use for your character or you can give it to your main character. So whenever you're flying your main character out there, you're not having to spend all that money to get implants. And with those, as an alpha, you can get up to +3 of those. The other thing is it gives you a little bit of money on the side, and it gives you some LP, which you can then turn in to buy faction items off of places. There's other things that are involved. It also gives you time to mess around. If I'm not wanting to play actively, I know a lot of people mine. But mining really involves skills, and you're constantly upgrading your skills. With this, just like exploration, you can jump into doing this right off the bat. And mining doesn't get you any LPs. Mining doesn't get you um, uh, the faction standings. So this kind of it slowly matriculates up, and then down the road, way down the road, if you want to turn this into your main hauling ult, turn it into a large freighter flyer or something like that, you can do that. But keep it simple, keep it like it is right now. So how do I do distribution missions to the max? Well, I'm going to say there's probably better ways of doing this, but there is a quick way to do this. Number one, go into your agency. Number two, now, remember I was doing those career missions? I did just enough career missions for the Minmatar to get me over, let's get in here, interactions, factions, 1.0. Now, I will tell you this right now. If I finish off, and that allows me to do level 2 distribution missions. Don't do level 1 distribution missions, just like you don't want to do level 1 security missions. They just suck. Level 2 aren't even that much better, but at least it gets you rolling. If you do the career missions, it will slowly bump you up here. The other thing is with corporations, notice I'm at a 3.5 with pay towards score, and I didn't even finish all their career missions. I still have their business one to go. I can run through them right now level 3 distribution missions because I'm at for the pay tour school. And I think there's only 2 guys that fly with that. But as your corporation standings go up, your faction standings go up, it'll allow you to do those, and you can have less and less travel time to get from point A to point B to take new missions. On top of all that, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about flying around, there's 2 things that you could do. Now, the first one, I don't think alpha players would get too much into, but you could try to do courier missions for other players. That's out there. I've never done it, but I've heard that it's possible. You want to be very careful with that, but it can make you some money. The other thing is while you're flying from point A to point B, and as you get into longer missions, and you're going from region to region sometimes, you can check the markets. If something is selling for low here and selling it high for here, you probably can't even see it, low here, high here, while you're flying through doing these distribution missions, pick up those items, drop them off over here, sell them for a higher price. A bunch of little things that you can do without firing a shot at anybody. And again, this is just my hauling alt. It's my side character that if I just want to relax, watch a little TV, mess around for a little while, I got it going on. So how do I get these up a little bit faster? Well, go in here and I say distribution missions. Boom. Agent level. I'm just going to go with level 2. Now, if I'll show you here, level 3 should pop up with some pay tour school. Yep, I could run these 2 right here, and they're only 1 jump and 5 jumps away. The other ones, that's only a jump away. The difference in the payouts of these are huge. Let's just start a conversation. I don't think I can. Oh, I gotta be actually there to try it. Get it. There is a big jump between 2 and 3 and 3 and 4. Now, the reason why I'm using my wreath instead of a regular ship is your cargo gets larger too. So, I'm going to drop down to level 2 here, and this is the last point that I'm going to show you what you want to look for. If you look right here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, distribution agents in the same system. This is huge. Again, chop down your time. Set my destination. That's where I was originally. We'll jump on over there. There we go. I'll dock here. Every once in a while, you'll find a station that is fully fleshed out with a ton of different distribution agents. Sometimes they'll have 3 or 4 of level 2s, level 3s, and level 4s. You can pick up all those items, throw them in the back of your wreath, and go dropping them off. And as you're dropping off those items, there might be another distribution agent at that place that you get to. As you keep raising your corporation standings with all of the ones that you deliver to and you run for, more options grow. And you get to travel around New Eden. I know I'm starting to play a longer amount of time because I actually referred to it as New Eden. Pretty impressed with that. Okay, so you notice I had 4 in the system. Now, scroll on down. Notice here I got a distribution. I got 4 guys right here. Start conversation. It will tell you over here if it's going to low sec. I'm not too worried about that. I am just going to accept these. Look at this. Not very much payout. Right there, not a huge amount. Start. Accept. It's been a while since this is actually the first time I'm doing this. I did this a long time ago when I used to play. So this is kind of, I may miss something here. We've got all 4 of these. I'm accepting all 4 of these. Each one of them, their size of their cargo is right there. Good. So I got all 4 of these items here. Let's get those into my bay. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to undock. Now, if I remember, now they've changed this up on me a little bit. So once it comes up here on the outside, let's go ahead and get rid of my corporation window. What I want to do is look for the closest one that's to me. So set my destination, that's 2 away. Set my destination, that's 3 away. Set my destination, that's 2 away. And again, set my destination 1 away. There we go. And, whoops, we are jumping. I guess I could actually do those buttons there. Gotta work on my hotkeys. It's as simple as that right there. I now have my 4 items. I filled up my bay with a 1,300 M3s. I've got space for 3,000. So I can literally carry up to 8, 9, or 10 mission items in my ship. Very rarely will I go above that. At this level. When I start doing level 3s, you have to have a larger cargo bay. You're usually carrying somewhere between 1,000 and 4,000, if I remember correctly, M3s, but the payout is much greater. So that's where you want to switch out some things, maybe the ship itself, or put in some different rigs, that sort of thing. But right now, this is just the basic side of it. Do some cargo expansion, that sort of thing. Flying along. How much time I got? It's 24 minutes. I was going to mess around with the overview because I have just the basic overview on this. And I was watching a couple videos on setting up your own overview. There's definitely overviews out there that you can download. I used to do that back when I used to play, but I want to learn how to do it. I always had a problem messing around with that. It's not very user-friendly, or I don't know if they've changed it. Maybe it's better now. So maybe the next video or a video after that I'll show how to do that, or my struggles with it. Because sometimes I just put my struggles of things on here hoping that somebody will point out what I'm doing wrong. Alrighty, so we got these here. go. And the problem is we got to remember which one it was. I think it was. Yep, got all that stuff there. Complete my mission. Last thing I want to do is scroll on down here and see, are there any things here? I could do this event. Those are kind of interesting. They'll actually raise your faction standing as well. I'm not going to mess around with that just yet. So undock there, and then we'll just check to see where our next groups are. Other things you could do is try to see if you're flying long distances, see if there's like cargoes that are going in the same direction. There's some areas where the way the distribution missions are set up, it will only travel so far for level 1s and level 2s and level 3s. And if the areas are set up where there's not many jumps to different areas, you can really get into a nice little bounce back. And you can do that while you're watching TV and stuff like that. So, here that's 3 away. It's 4 away, 3 away. So we will go that way. So if you remember before, I was 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm 3 and 4 away. So it basically took me in the opposite direction to take care of the 1. So now it's taking me a little bit longer. That's about it. I'm sure there's other things that I could talk about on this, but I don't want to bore you to death. This is not the most interesting of videos, but it is something that you can lightly do while still being an active player. And this is something that you can do while you're researching things, reading upon things, or like what I want to do is actually work on my overview and use and stuff like that, or my settings. You can do that while not having to worry too much about dying. So, alrighty, that's about all I got for today. I'm sorry for the wait on the video. Just I didn't have a whole lot to do while I was messing around. So, hopefully I'll have another one up here in the day or two. And hope you guys have a great week. Hope you had a great weekend. And fly safe, fly dangerously, fly however that you want. Have a good one. Alrighty, bye-bye.